Good morning, Southeast Missouri, and wherever you may be listening. This is the Retirement Playbook brought to you by Innovative Financial Solutions. We are the retirement people, and we're here every Saturday morning giving you some great information and some tips to help you to get to and through your own retirement. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Shore. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Brock Allspy. You are a madman when it comes to financial planning. I love it. You've been keeping busy. I know you've been meeting with a lot of folks talking about year-end planning. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. But we're talking about another hot topic right now today, and we're going to talk about Social Security. I know you've got a lot for us. But first, I have to ask, how have you been? Are you keeping busy? I know you are.
I'm keeping real busy, and folks,
Uh-huh.
I will tell you, Tony made fun of me off the air before we got on the show.
I
I
would
took a drink
never.
of coffee out of my Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah,
cup,
that's
and he
right.
said, "Hey, how's the Taylor Swift cup going there?" Just kind of made fun of me a little bit. So, for all you Chiefs fans, you're gonna need to hate on Tony for a few minutes here.
I said, I like your Taylor Swift coffee cup. Oh,
Oh,
I'm
there you,
sorry,
yeah,
Chiefs
yeah,
coffee
yeah.
cup. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, well,
All
listen, we
right.
digress. But yeah, no, we have a great show lined up for you today. We're talking about Social Security, and when we talk about financial planning, retirement planning, income planning, whatever, Social Security still is the foundation to any solid retirement income plan. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the COLA that's been announced for next year, the amount of increase you will receive, and much, much more. But before we do, I want you folks to go to our website. It's theinnovativeteam.com, theinnovativeteam.com. You can check out past shows. You can download the Retirement Income Toolkit. You can get some more information on the Roth Conversion Guide. Roth conversions are continually to be discussed to see if that is something that might benefit you in the future. Obviously, there's some cost to it, so it's always the cost versus benefit discussion. Get some more information. Look that up. The Roth Conversion Guide on our website. You can also order my book. It's The Last Paycheck: How to Retire, How to Build and Maintain Your Income Throughout Retirement. Keep those paychecks coming in. You can do that and get started ordering that book on our website. So there it is, theinnovativeteam.com. Go to the website, and you can also shoot us an email. You can look on there and request a meeting with me. There's lots of things you can do on our website. So again, it's theinnovativeteam.com. All right, Tony, you ready to get started? Talk about Social
Yes.
Security. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. What are we covering today?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to cover is, and this is big news, high headline stuff here, is the COLA, the cost of living adjustment, has been announced for next year. And so this past year, the COLA increase, the cost of living adjustment, was 8.7%. Remember, inflation was crazy, and so they have these cost of living adjustments to adjust for inflation.
Right.
And it was 8.7, and we all know that story. That was,
Last
crazy.
year they
Oof.
increased it by
Yeah,
8.7%. That was
yeah.
good. That
It
was
was
good.
good. It did help. We all know that, look, you get these increases. There's also increases in, your Medicare Part B, and there's
Yeah.
increases in living expenses, period. But nonetheless, that is a big increase. And so what this year for 2024, starting in January, people are going to see a 3.2% increase in their Social Security checks. Okay. So, inflation has come down. The Fed target is still 2%. They have just this week, Jerome Powell talked about what they still plan on doing. And it was actually a potential for rates, the Fed funds rates, to be increased in November. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, especially when this week we saw, for the first time in 16 years, the 10-year Treasury bill go up over 5%. And so now it did come back down, Thursday and Friday and even Wednesday. But my point is that I don't know that we'll see that increase, but they're saying, hey, if it's above 2%, everything's on the table. And so the 3.2% inflation right now is what caused the increase for the
Sure.
Social Security check. So
Sure. And
anyway,
when you told me that you wanted to talk about the cola today, I brought a prop, and then I did some research on like RC, the Cola Wars, Pepsi, but that's not what you meant at all when you said cola. You meant,
it's yeah, it's not. In fact, just keep the dad jokes coming, buddy.
yeah,
Just keep the dad jokes coming.
the bad
Jeez,
dad jokes,
the bad
the
dad
bad
jokes.
dad jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Social Security in general, today we're going to leave no Social Security stone unturned. Where do you want to begin with that?
Yeah, so when we're talking about Social Security, again, I say this all the time. It's the foundation, folks. You've got to maximize your Social Security in retirement. And so when you're talking about maximizing it, really, let's take a step back and make sure that we understand that there are basically, I mean, it's not uncommon, Tony, when we run these reports for people to see, 10 and 15 and 20,000 different calculations as to how, or when you elect your benefits for you and your spouse. So a married couple, it becomes much more difficult to make sure that you're maximizing those benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's begin, and we're going to look at this U.S. News and World Report article, 6 reasons you're getting a smaller Social Security check, which I think does a nice job of answering some of the most common questions that we always get. Okay. So claiming your benefit early is a common reason that some people find themselves less than they're anticipated. If you file at age 62 when you're eligible, Tony, you're going to get 75% of your full retirement. And your full retirement base is based off of when you were born. Okay. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. Okay. So most people right now are looking at some form of 66 in a few months, and we're moving into the 67s. Right. And
Right.
so you have the ability to turn on your benefit at age 62. Then you have your full retirement age, which again, we'll just for today's purposes, we'll use 67 as your full retirement age. And then you have all the way out till 70 that you can defer your benefits. Okay. Now, today we just talked about the COLA increase, right? The cost of living adjustment that the government says, okay, we're going to give you an increase based off of inflation. That is different. This is where a lot of confusion comes in too, Tony. That is different than your delayed retirement credits that you will receive by waiting to collect your benefit. Okay. It's in addition to, all right. So when you're talking about delayed retirement credits from 62 to your full retirement age, it's going to be somewhere around that 6.75, let's just call it close to 7% increases. Okay. Once you reach your full retirement age at 67, again in this example today, from 67 to 70, those 3 years, you're talking about an 8% increase.
So
Tony.
if you don't file and wait until 70, between your full retirement age and 70, it goes up 8% per year.
That's a big increase, Tony,
Yeah,
right?
it
And
is.
so look, I'm not sitting here telling you that everybody should do this, right? In other words,
Right.
everybody should just wait till 70 because that's
No.
not always the best. In
Right.
fact, Tony, there's been a lot of studies done that show that these 3 main ages that people look at when it comes to electing their benefits are usually not the right answer, right?
Yeah.
So take it at age 62.
62, 67, or 70. Some
Right.
people think I'm going to take it at one of those ages, or 65. But it varies for everybody based on your personal situation. It could be 63. It could be 64. It could be 66 in 4 months.
And
You
a
don't
lot
know.
of it depends on, and again, look, if you're single, look, you can go to Google, break even analysis. You can, do a calculator online that will show you if you're single, it's pretty easy to figure out break even analysis, right? How long should I wait and how many checks will I collect to make up the difference of waiting and getting a larger benefit? Right. So
Right.
that's a break even analysis. It's simple.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a married couple, you have other factors here. That
Yeah.
is your own benefit, spousal benefits, and the most forgotten about by far is the survivorship benefits when it comes
That's
to a
the
married
big one.
couple. That's
Yep.
the big one, Tony. And so when you're talking about a married couple, it's you cannot forget about any of those. In fact, I had a conversation this week with a client, and she, the wife was like worried about when she should elect her benefit. And what we found out is that her spousal benefit is bigger than her own benefit anyway.
Right.
Okay. And so that comes into play of when do you elect your benefits? Because again, all the spousal benefits and even the survivorship benefits can be affected by when you elect your own benefits. So lots and lots of things go into this. It can be very confusing. We're not going to get into those weeds as much today, but it shows the importance of getting the right information, because you can't make the best decision without the right information, right? And
Right.
the right information is a Social Security maximization report, which, by the way, we can run for you.
You
Okay.
can run that report, a Social Security maximization report, and it takes in the individual or couple's personal information, and then you run the report. It does like 20,000 calculations, and it says, here's the best spousal benefits, here's the best strategy for filing based on your personal situation.
You got it, buddy. It's all
Wow.
customized. And if you're not getting customized, kind of like those golf clubs, you got to get custom fitted if you want to be the best golfer. You got to get a custom plan if you want to have the best retirement. Wow,
Interesting.
look at
Okay.
there.
Look at that, a
There.
golf
Bringing in the
analogy.
golf. I mean,
Wow.
who
Wow.
thought? Who would have
From
thought
the
that would
Chiefs to golf already in the retirement playbook. There's a reason it's called the retirement playbook. That's for sure. The sports theme goes along with the financial theme. I like it. So Brock, I know
Yep.
you've helped
Yep.
all your clients with their Social Security and people who come to you. That maximization report is key.
Yep.
When you file, obviously makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It does. It makes a huge difference of when you file. And here's the deal, Tony. You got to get this right the first time. You do have 12 months. You could pay it all back and then reverse that decision. That's not a very good idea, right? I mean, it's not a good strategy. So you got to make sure you do this right the first time. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, it's about getting the information.
Yeah.
And then acting upon it. So anyway.
Sure.
All right, Tony. So
yep. What's another thing that can affect
Yep.
our Social Security benefit amount?
That's what I was just getting ready to do.
All right.
Sorry, I got a little ahead of you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, so some people are caught off talking about, realizing, oh my gosh, why is my check smaller than I thought? Because they're caught off guard by the size of their Social Security payments because they neglected the factor that earnings, right? So your
Right.
Social Security payment is calculated, and I had a conversation this week with someone using the 35 highest earning years of your career. Okay. So if someone's looking, and that was the case with this particular client, they were looking at retiring a little earlier. And we had the conversation of, you have some goose eggs on that Social Security income, right? Because he doesn't have the full 35 years. So we want to fill those zeros in with at least something, and it's going to help because it's, again, they use the highest 35 years. It's not an average, by the way, folks. And we're not going to get into how they do this and how they calculate it.
There's quite a calculation.
It is.
Yeah.
We would have everybody falling asleep, not just 50% of our audience, Tony. The entire audience would be falling asleep if we did that.
Yes.
So anyway, again, if you worked fewer than 35 years, again, we got to get those zeros off. When you review your estimated future benefit, the number you see assumes you'll keep working and earning income at your current level. A lot of people don't realize that. They think it's based on what they've already worked. No. It's assuming that you're going to continue to work and earn what you've been earning. Okay. So when you pull up those estimation of benefits, that's not saying, hey, this is what you're going to get if you stopped right now. Okay. Some of those numbers are on the estimation of benefits. So again, look through that thing and work with somebody that can help explain some of those things. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
And so, I mean, yeah, you've said that previously. If you're in your 60s and enjoy your job, there might be a real benefit in terms of Social Security to keep working into your late 60s or even your 70s, right?
100% it does. And what I'll say about that, Tony, is that, and you've heard me say this before, is that you work in retirement because you want to, not because you have to. Okay.
Right.
So let's make that a dual purpose of maybe potentially filling some of those zeros in on your Social Security income because you don't have the 35 years. But more importantly, let's do it because we don't have to have that to make our plan work. But we also realize that we want to work. We want to be able to, contribute or do something and be fulfilled versus,
Right.
just cold quit turkey and on the not doing anything and making sure that you love your spouse, but you may not want to spend that much time with them. So
Yeah, it's like my mom told it said at their 60th wedding anniversary, they asked her, how do you do it? You stay married this long? And she just said, he was gone a lot. That's what's your secret to a long marriage? And she said he was gone a lot.
well,
My poor dad.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Yep.
but that's true. Now, what's another thing that can lower our Social Security amount?
Well, the other thing is, you're looking at, and I mentioned this on the COLA discussion, is your Part B premiums for your Medicare, right?
Ah,
So
they do come out of the Social Security check.
exactly. So
Yeah.
Part A is included. There's no cost to that, but you have a premium that you have to pay for Part B, unless you have maybe an Advantage plan that replaces A and B. And but anyway, most people that use Medicare, traditional Medicare, have Part A, then Part B, and your premium for Part B is $164.90. And so as that goes up, so again, as you get an increase in your Social Security, that goes up as well. Okay, may
Yeah.
not be the
I
full
think
amount of
it's I don't think it's quite as much, but it is going up in 2024. Medicare Part B, I think it's going up to 174. It's going up by almost $10 a month.
right.
Yeah.
So that's not going to take your whole increase, right?
No.
But I mean, it
No.
does eat into it, and you think, okay, well,
Sure.
I'm going to get this increase. And again, we're just talking about 6 reasons why people think, why am I getting as much? And so, anyway, so also, Tony, when it comes to Medicare, let's finish that discussion. What about your Part D? Right? You have to have, if you're on drugs or if you have to have a prescription plan, regardless of, if maybe you don't take very many or, whatever. But the Part D, there is a premium for that, right? You have to pay, the premium for Part D to have a prescription plan.
Yep.
And then, and again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Make sure you have the right Part D plan, right?
It's
Put in
huge.
your you can put your prescriptions in the calculator, and it will tell you exactly whose plan covers what drugs. So if you're not doing that, you work with somebody. Jason Lee in our office here at Innovative Financial Solutions can help you with this, and they'll tell you exactly which plan is best for you. In addition to Part D, which is your prescriptions, those things are covering 80%. Medicare is going to cover 80% of your medical bill, so you have to get a supplement to cover the other 20%. Shop those. Make sure you're in the right plan for that. You may be paying too much for the supplement that you're in. You can change to a different company and you can save money. So as these things increase, again, yeah, that's great. We're getting a 3.2% increase just after getting an 8.7. So, you're talking 12% over 2 years, but make sure that you're putting that additional money to work and making sure you're
Yeah.
not overpaying for some of those expenses.
Yeah, especially Medicare. And you mentioned that it is open enrollment or the annual election period right now for Medicare. I'll remind our listeners of that. And that goes until December 7th. So if you want to make a change, review where you're at. Everyone once a year should review. If you're on Medicare, you should review it. And if you're on an Advantage plan or a supplemental plan, you want to look at that, don't you? And reevaluate where you're at. A lot of people are in plans that they could maximize their coverage, increase their coverage, and minimize their cost in a lot of cases.
In a lot of cases, I mean, we've seen that, and that's not even considering other things like Advantage plans. Now, I don't know if an Advantage plan is right for you because we don't
Right.
know your situation, but that could come into play. And boy,
Yeah.
you talk about saving some money on a monthly basis anyway with premium. That could
Yeah.
really help. Now, oftentimes those come with other if you have to use it and you go into a hospital for a few days, it could be costly versus having that supplement. So again, figuring out which plan and what is right for you is the ultimate thing that you need to do.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, Tony.
All right.
One other reason why your Social Security is not as big as you may have thought is because of tax withholdings, right? This
Taxes, of course.
what are the couple things you're going to do in life?
Pay taxes and
And
eat pizza.
eat pizza.
Uh,
Man, you hit it right on the head.
Didn't I?
Yeah, taxes are a big part of our lives. We know that. We have to pay, sales tax, Social Security taxes. We got all kinds of taxes in our lives. When you hit retirement, it's not going away, folks. It's in fact, a lot of times, you don't realize how much that tax burden is in retirement when you're talking about your 401k withdrawals. So people taking a lump sum out of their 401k or IRAs, it just kills them in taxes, right? So you just, again, that kind of goes in with the whole entire plan as well, and considering these things and getting a plan to minimize your tax bill. I mean, come on, that's what everybody wants to do. You want to minimize your tax bill, right?
Right.
And so that you can do things. In fact, you can do things now. We've talked about the Roth conversion, Tony, right? I'm a huge proponent of the Roth.
Yes.
Why? Because when you take a withdrawal, specifically to what we're talking about here, when you take a withdrawal in retirement from a Roth IRA or 401k, it's not taxable, right? And so what does that mean for your Social Security benefits? That they're taxed at a lower rate too, and maybe not even taxable. Why?
Right.
Because over $32,000, if you file joint, over $32,000 of provisional income, which is half of your Social Security benefit and any other income, they would be taxed. Your Social Security would 85% of your benefit would be taxed. Okay.
Wow.
So no matter how much income you have, 15% of it's going to be tax free. But man, what if we could develop a plan, Tony, where none of your Social Security is going to be taxed?
Yeah.
You can do that if you plan properly and you
Yeah.
start early enough. Give us a call. I mean, that's what we do. 573-332-7855. Or again, our website's theinnovativeteam.com. I mean, what a great deal, Tony. I mean, having that tax-free retirement. So, if the Roth is a one way that you can do that, another way to supplement tax-free income, and this is what I've done, is overfund a life insurance policy that you can take income from in retirement, which is also tax-free, which also doesn't count towards the amount of income to consider how much of your Social Security's benefit is taxable. So again, now we've got 3 income sources in retirement that are all tax-free. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's huge, because a lot of people think, well, I'm not going to have to pay many taxes in retirement, or my Social Security isn't taxed. Social Security isn't taxed. Wrong. Up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed, and you will pay taxes in retirement on all those tax deferred accounts you pull money out of.
yeah,
And
and Tony,
inheritance, if you inherit things. I mean,
yeah,
there are a lot of surprise taxes, and the Social Security is a big one. But you're right, having those tax-free buckets, the Roth, converting money now while taxes are low into a Roth, that makes so much sense.
it
But
does. And here's the thing, Tony, is
Yep.
that people always ask this question. Well, okay, so I'm going to pay taxes on 85% of my Social Security benefit. Correct. Well, what tax rate? Is it 35? And people need to understand it depends on your income.
Right.
I think we take that for granted. I mean, that seems pretty obvious to a lot of us, but a lot of people don't understand and ask questions like, okay, do I have to withhold? How much do I withhold? Again, talk to your CPA, talk to your accountant, talk to your financial advisor that can kind of guide you a little bit there, but you want to confirm those numbers with a tax professional.
Sure.
So it may be 20%, it may be 25% of that you need to withhold. It just all depends on your situation and how much income you have.
There you go. Well, we're out of time for today's show, Brock. It flew by.
Man.
Hey, let our listeners know one more time how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, give us a call at Innovative Financial Solutions. We are the Retirement People, 573-332-7855. Or again, that website is theinnovativeteam.com.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of the Retirement Playbook with our host, Brock Allspa. Good show, Brock.
Thank you. It says it's